Jan Vanderstoel.
Hi.
Hi. It is so good to see you.
Oh, lovely to see you guys too. Well, just you, not
Y-
you guys, but all the other guys that I can't see that are watching.
Yeah, and
God,
we have
oh,
girls. We have girls as well. I guess in a politically correct space, we should. Go,
guys and girls, absolutely, and all people. That's what we
all
should say. That's
peoples.
right. That's
And
right. I mean, English is my second language, so I sometimes make those mistakes. But yes, oh, I wish I'd. No, now can you see me, or is it too
I
much
can see
sunshine?
you wonderfully. It is such a pleasure to have you on the show, and
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
someone someone of such esteem and prowess as yourself. Tell us
Thank you,
tell
Doctor.
us a bit more about your wonderful self.
Well, I don't know what you've told the viewers already, but I'm, of course, from Dutch heritage. I grew up in a tiny little place called Schermonnig-Oog, very difficult to say, and it's a little tiny island in the Frisian Islands in Holland, and then immigrated there with Peter, my husband and cousin. Um, to Australia in the 70s. I had a lot of success back in Holland as a singer originally, Dr. Dan. With my group, the Hootenanny Singers, that I was in with all my cousins. There was about 40 of us. It was a very small village, and we were pretty much all related, and we had great times with that. Oh, you've disappeared.
I'm still here.
Yeah, okay.
It's you in full frame.
Yes, it is. I know. I suddenly went, wow, I look fantastic.
Yeah.
So yes, I grew up there, and then we immigrated in the 70s. And I continued singing. I joined a group we call of all female singers called Pandora's Box in the 70s. But we broke up, as often bands do, and. For many years, I didn't do any singing at all. I was just a real estate agent and doing my thing. And then I came across my very special talent one evening at the Christmas party with the real estate agents that I was working with. When they were doing karaoke, and people were just, I mean, honestly, singing so off, and it was terrible, And I was sitting there with Helen, who was the tea and coffee lady at the Scout Hall where I teach my courses now, but she was a cleaner at the real estate agent at the time, and she said, "You should get up, Jan, and have a go." I bet you've got a great voice. And I said to her, "What would you know? You're just a cleaner." But then I thought to myself, well, actually, I do have a great voice. So why am I holding back? And so I got up. And Dr. Dan, to this day, it's an amazing memory for me. But to this day, nobody can remember what I sang. All people can remember is that glasses started to shatter, toilets got blocked up, and everybody was instantly sober. And they all started,
Amazing.
all turning to each other and sort of saying, do you want to go? Yeah, let's go. Can you drive? Yeah, let's do it. Let's split. And I thought, my gosh, I've been using my voice the wrong way. It is not something just to entertain. It is something to heal people. Because if I can heal someone from alcoholism in one song, what can I do? And that's really how I started to do what I do.
And I guess the challenge then is to bottle that, which is kind of ironic, given that you're trying to heal people of alcoholism, to put it into a bottle.
That's right, putting it in a bottle, but not drinking it to go crazy.
No,
but drinking it like medicine for healing. That's right.
That's amazing, and as a result of that, you've been on this journey of really becoming this the international musical therapist that you are, one of the world's leading singing teachers.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I worked with so many celebrities and also plebs like you guys. But so many different people to help them to discover, to heal them, and to discover their true self, for true self-expression. Yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm very proud to say through my courses, I have helped literally tens of people. Very proud of that.
That's extraordinary. Is there any particular person who stands out from the tens?
Well, I think there's always been, there's been a lot of people in their time. I can't remember them all out of them because it's a lot of people. But I mean, I think certainly it's often the ones that got a bit blocked that I remember. You can't help everyone. I do remember we had a lovely girl called Carol that I could never really help because she didn't want to stop belting. There are some singers that is one of my real pet hates is belting. And as I explain to them all the time, think about what it is. Belting. That's bashing people up. That's violent belting. Why
It
do you
is.
want to do that? But in an oral sense. And so I try to say to people, once it gets high, you just drop down to octave. And I mean, I've been saying that since the days of Pandora's Box. Those girls as well, they always said, well, we just want to go higher, and I used to say, no, when it gets to the high bit, you get up there, memory, when you get to that bit, burnt out ends of smoky days, the stale cold smell of morning, streetlight dance, another night is over, another day is dawning, touch me, go down the octave. It is so much more powerful.
And such an easy solution. Why haven't the rest of us thought of that?
It's much nicer to listen to,
Absolutely.
big power at the bottom. And but no, everyone always wants to go up to the big note, and so that can be problematic sometimes. And if they want to do that, that's fine, but they don't have a place in my courses.
You do run this course called. Let me just make a note. I got the music in you. Is that
I get the music in you?
Right.
Yeah.
And where did you come up with this name?
Well, really, it was the first course I ever ran after the Christmas function. And I really found it was a lovely play on words from, of course, that song, I've got the music in me. And I thought, well, actually, I do have the music in me, but more so, I can push the music and shove the music into other people, and that is what I'm interested in doing, because I've got it already, but I want to help the other people, and by forcing that music onto them and to help them then release their self-expression and release their healing, so that is where I got it. I get the music in you,
And this shoving music into people, do you find that that's a therapeutic process for both yourself and the student?
Well, for me, I just do it for the money, but then, it's lovely, it's lovely. Sometimes they find it confronting. I find often people laugh a lot, which is interesting, because I always find that when they laugh, they've got issues. I say, that's about you, not me,
Right.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's all part of it. I'm like Teflon. It just slips right off me, and I just keep going.
It is amazing to me that that other people claim to be world's best singing teacher. How do you find that? Because, for example, Miranda sings. Have you heard of Miranda?
Yes, she's my competition. I've met her before.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Miranda. She certainly believes she's the world's leading singing teacher, but of course you and I know differently.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dr. Dan. I think we know that she's a young girl. There's a lot of self confidence, and that's fine. She's a fantastic singer. No one can deny that. Even me. I'd love to be able to say, oh God, she sings flat or whatever, but her technique is stunning, and she is very good. But there's one thing to be a good singer. I'm a good singer, she's a good singer. There's another thing to be able to pass that on, as I think you would know as a singing teacher yourself.
Oh, I thank you. I wouldn't put myself in the same class as someone like yourself.
But I think. I think that is definitely part of it. Is I go, well, I really admire her as a technician and as a singer, but what she passes on is not clear. No.
Right. So clarity is obviously something that you really value. What is when you are instructing singers?
Yeah.
What would be the key thing that you're trying to deliver with clarity to a student singer?
Well, it's really it's the same in every part of my life. It's just tell the truth, be blunt. I think honesty is a very undervalued quality, and in Dutch people we love it. It's part of our heritage. It's just who we are, and I think that is the thing you can always find with someone who's Dutch is you get the brutal truth. I remember I've recently I've found that I have another gift which is very, very exciting, which is as a psychic medium.
Oh,
uh, Yes, it's something very, very new. I've only just discovered it recently, but I've been channeling and things like that. It's been really exciting. And for an example for that, there was a lady in my session the other day, and I was sitting there, and I said, "Oh, here I can feel something coming in. Oh, I got a stomach ache. Yes, that feels very painful. I think this person died of stomach cancer. Oh man, it's a masculine energy. I think his name was Chris, 35 years old, something like that. Is that familiar to anyone?" I put it out there in the audience, and this lady in the front row, she was so upset. She put her hand up. She said, she was crying, she said, "Jen, I think that is my husband because his name was Chris. He was 35 and he died a few months ago of stomach cancer." And I looked at her and I thought, no, it's not you. It's someone else. Anyone else? And I put it out there to the audience, and unfortunately, no one else felt that was familiar to them. So I moved on. I sent the spirit away.
right.
That lady, she didn't like that. She was very upset. But I can only do what is real.
Well, and someone with your capacity to know the right moment and the right connection, with your, teaching background,
Yes.
taking that into your psychic abilities,
It's amazing.
Amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. I can see what is going to happen for people sometimes in the future, where their voice is going to go. I can see that that they're going to be singing a lead role or possibly never getting out of the ensemble. I can see that, and I'll tell them. Because everyone always wants to know, am I going to be famous? How good am I? And I think it's our job to say, no, you're not. You're never going to amount to anything. So just maybe do it as a fun thing off in the local community choir or something. Don't waste our time.
So what would you say to the idea here at Voice Essentials? We're great believers in, this is the place where everybody sings, and it's the birthright of every human being to sing. What would you say to that?
Well, I think that's true, but it's everyone's birthright to sing. That's lovely. Absolutely, go for it. But it's not everyone has to listen to it. That's the difference, isn't it? Fantastic. Go for it.
So.
And if someone's willing for you to give them money to listen to your terrible voice, go for it. But it's their choice whether they want to listen or not. And I think that's the difference. I will sometimes just say, yeah, I don't want to listen to that, darling. Thank you so much. And off you go. See Voice Essentials.
So you really see the process of, for example, with your course, as shoving the music into other people as opposed to having music shoved into you.
Well, I don't need it shoved into me because I was born with it, It was shoved into me from an early age, I think, from all of my, from all of the people that I grew up with, we were singing always, and my cousins and my uncles and aunts, it was a very family thing. So we've all got great voices like mine, and when we get together, you should hear it.
It must be a real treat. Does Peter sing?
Yeah, Peter, well, he used to, of course, in the Hootenanny Singers. That's how I met him, with Jack and Vilma. We were like the foursome, us four, all cousins, and Jack was actually my boyfriend at the time. But unfortunately, I had a terrible accident actually at the time when Wilma was my best friend, and she one day was practicing a routine that we did in the Hootenanny Singers, because we used to also do Dutch dancing, traditional folk dancing, and she actually kicked me in the throat with a clog. And I was rushed to a hospital in the mainland in Amsterdam that dealt fully with footwear-related injuries. And I spent time there. And when I came back, funny, there was a bit of a shift, and I found I couldn't sing the same way as I did before. So all my solos went to Wilma, and Jack actually and we were drifting apart then as well, and he ended up with Wilma, and Peter is actually Wilma's brother, and they loved each other so much. They were identical twins, the two of them, and funnily enough, I ended up with him, and moved to Australia very soon after that, and took him away from her. So anyway, he didn't sing much after that. Yeah.
History has really favoured you in
Yes.
that regard. Is that tragic backstory that you've just told us?
Yeah.
Did that come into play when you went on Australia's Got Talent recently?
Well, I mean, it was funny. That is when I found out. That's when I started to become psychic, actually. During that, and that is why I think I didn't get to the finals, because I was having trouble with this spirit that was starting to come through me and sing, and really sing very differently to how I'm comfortable, and through that is when I kind of really got the memories back from actually my childhood trauma, which I had not realised. I'd blocked a lot of that out, and so it has been quite a journey. This little time of my life now, finding this new talent that I have, I suppose. But it's Peter, he does his expression nowadays in craft. He's very crafty, and he does the sculptures in Dutch cheese and things like that, and that's lovely. I mean, they're a bit smelly, can't have them for very long in the house, but that's nice for him. Yeah.
We all need an interest, I guess.
Well, that's right. We all need hobbies, don't we?
We do. And one of my hobbies is I love singing technique, and I was hoping that maybe you could share with us some of your favourite singing exercises that you give to your students. I know that normally people would pay top dollar for this kind of instruction from you, but I was just hoping that you might indulge us for a moment and give us some insights into your technique.
Well, there's a certain exercise I do a lot with students called the bell exercise. So I'm happy to do that with everyone.
Would you, please?
Okay, so basically you have to think of that yourself. This is how you find your vocal tone, basically. So you just think of yourself as a bell. Okay, so everyone that's listening, just think of that. Are you a kind of a cathedral bell, like a very low bong, bong, like that, or maybe you are like a bell on like the counter of a hotel, like a bing, 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 like that. So you just think of your bell. You think about what is that sound. Yeah, got it? You got it? Yes, great. Okay, so the next thing you have to think about is what kind of donga you want to have. So do you feel that you have in your bell a long donga, or do you have a short one? Because that changes the tone as well.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, so think about that, okay? Now that you've decided on what sort of donga you have, what I want you to do is to just swing your donga freely side to side, and you just make your bong. Bong. So you go bong. Whatever comes out. Bong. I hope everyone's doing it at home, just listening. Or it might be higher. Bong. Whatever.
I guess getting your donga out is something you probably should only do in the privacy of your own home.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. I just was disconnected. What was that?
I was going to say, I guess getting your donga out is something you should do in the privacy of your own home.
Well, yes. I mean, I sometimes love to do it in groups. It's quite fun, because often at the end of that you can share your bong with everyone, in the group, which is also lovely and lots of fun. lots of fits and giggles with that.
Right.
So it's quite a nice exercise at the end to share the bong with someone else, and they share their bong with you, and then it's interesting. That becomes the beginning of your focal tone.
Okay.
And so that's lovely. That's a good exercise. That's one you can use in the future if you like. I'll give you permission.
I will be tempted. I don't know actually. Have you got? That's fantastic. Do you have any others?
Oh, well, I've got quite a few others, of course, but of course they're trademark exercises.
Of course, of course they are. When you are sending your proteges out into the big bad world of showbiz, what is the advice that you give them? I'm scared to ask.
Advice I give to the people going into showbiz.
Yes.
Well, basically, that showbiz is a bitch. I say that it is like a bitch, like a bitchy dog. It will bite you, nip you, even though sometimes it comes up and licks your face and makes you feel lovely. It will also smell your crotch, and it will shit in your backyard. It's a very unpredictable business. So if you want to get into it, you've got to think to yourself, we don't know what we're going to get from one day. You might have someone weeing on your leg, one day, and the next day you've got a lovely cuddle. So basically, it has to. I just say, just as long as you know that that's what you're going to get, and that it's going to be a bit of everything. If you're happy with that, go for it. Yeah.
Is there anything that you can do to sort of guard yourself against the undulating journey of a career in music?
Well, if you can continue with the dog thing, you can cut off the balls of the industry if you like. You can get underneath it, and just undermine it a little bit and try to steer it from that way. That's maybe a possibility with, getting bigger like I have. Once you're a big fish, it's a lot easier, isn't it? You've got more power. So certainly doing that. But I think it's also about how you ride the journey. You've got to be able to harness it a little bit, So get the whip out. I mean, that's a lot of my feeling about life in general. It's really take control,
Yeah. You're just moving me to.
I know. Well, you've got a few issues because you're laughing a bit, and that's okay, Dr. Dan. It's all right. I'm used to that, and this is what people do. They feel a bit awkward or a bit confronted, and that's fine.
I'm very ready to acknowledge my issues.
Yes. I've seen your show. It's really great.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming from you, that's high praise, and I very much appreciate. I can only aspire to someone of your level, so I'm doing my best. I wonder what's next for Jan van der Stoel. I mean, this is a thing, isn't it? Once you reach such a height, how do you maintain that? That presence.
Thank you for asking, Dr. Dan. It is hard because there's sometimes the only way is down. Sometimes when you've hit the highs, and I was thinking that actually recently. Last year when I was asked to host a very high-profile award show on the television, and I did that, and then I was walking home to the 2-star accommodation that they put me up in on the way home, and I was, I'd been having this wonderful time flirting with Kamal and all these, great things, and having a prawn cocktail and all those things that they do afterwards, and I was walking, through the street on the way home, and I thought to myself, wow, you've really hit the top, Jan. What else can you do when you get this high? And I suddenly, it was amazing. I suddenly heard, out of hearing, just putting that question, I suddenly, heard a shout saying, "Get off the road, you stupid bitch," And I thought, oh yeah, you're right. Right, I am on the wrong road. It was just hearing that made me go, I'm on the wrong path. You know, like you can't keep going. Once you've hit that height, where do you go? You know, I've gotten lost in the shandies and the flirting with Kamal and all those things. So that was when I thought I've got to go back to my people. I've got to go back to the Scout Hall, do some more courses. So I've started a couple of new courses, which has been great. And I've recently written a new show, which I'm taking around Australia, called Parting the Red Curtains. The show is about my life and showing people the real Jan van der Stoel, not the one they know from celebrity television, but the real Jan van der Stoel, and you know, talking about my roots and all those things. Yeah,
that I can only think is going to be a real treat to those who choose to front up to that. Is that do you audition your students, or is that something that you're happy for people to sign up for?
Look, I'm happy for anyone to come because I just like to make money, you know. So it doesn't matter to me who turns up, you know. I will work with anything, and yeah, and it's always interesting to see. I sometimes also get people who were in, you know, I've very cleverly flogged some of my courses to the Department of Corrections, you know. So that's a bit more ka-ching. I get people with anger management issues and stuff who have to do a course, you know, advised.
I think the Department of Corrections just heard you mention them because you just went all. There was sort of like digitized. Then it was sort of like a conspiracy theory kind of thing.
I thought that maybe they've bugged me.
Yeah,
actually,
I think they might have.
They don't like me to talk about it. Actually, yeah,
Wow.
probably that's probably a good thing that happened. Yeah.
Okay, well.
So, but yeah, so I get all sorts of people coming, and that's fine. You know, I'm happy to do that and to help them out. Yeah.
Do you ever find, and just back to your technique of voice, do you ever find that you're, you know, whilst you're shoving the music into people, that you're really shoving a square peg into a round hole?
Well, the thing is, I like them to find their own personal narrative story. So that is what I call songs. You know, so I work with whatever they come with. I mean, I can work with rap singers. You know what I mean? I can do anything.
Do you rap?
I don't personally rap. No, I wish I could, you know, except that I hate rap. But, you know, I can work with anything. I mean, if they come with that, I will work with it, you know. I work with people who have, you know, very sort of funny, weird breaks in their voices. I can work with anything. I've actually, oh, that's my cat just jumped up. This is not a convenient time. Go away. Sorry, but that's why it went all wobbly then. So I forgot.
Oh. We've stalled. Are you still with us, Jan?
Oh, I'm still with us. Can you hear me now?
Yes. I think the cat might be working for the Department of Corrections.
Yeah, she just jumped up and it went all funny.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the question in all of that.
Are you shoving square pegs into round holes?
Yes, no. So that's what I was going to say. I don't force my technique or my kind of style of music or anything into them. I work with what I have, but I use my special techniques and my special methods to bring that out. So I don't feel that they feel necessarily violated or anything like that. You know,
which is a good thing.
It is, yeah. Oh well, of course, very important. You know, yeah, very important. But it's not. It's also not a walk in the park. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's been tears before and sometimes people leave and that's all right too. That's fine, you know. I've got a lot of legal things in place so that no one can touch me with that stuff.
Yeah.
It's also important, you know.
Yeah. I think we probably need to wrap it up. I know how precious your time is and how busy you are. And look, I am so thankful that you have taken the time to share with us so freely and so generously, given that you know, and this is important that everyone knows that, you know, for possibly the first time ever, Jan had chose to do this for free. So that's
I don't usually do that.
No, you don't, and so we're so thankful. For you giving of yourself so freely.
It's important to give back,
yeah. But it's that sort of modern day paying it forward, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's like doing charity concerts, and things like that. It's always important, but it's good that they pay you for it,
Yeah.
but at a discounted rate or something like that. Yeah.
I wonder whether you might leave us with a parting piece of wisdom, because I just know that you're such a deep well of insight and
Sure.
knowledge. As we come to finish today's show, I wonder if you could just, share with us and inspire us so that we can go into the rest of our week and the rest of the year.
Sure. There's a saying that I have, which is really, really powerful, I think, for people, which is do something every day that scares someone. And you can take that. I've trademarked it, but you can take it.
And there must be something wrong with me, because again I'm laughing. It's
all right. It's okay. I understand.
I'm going to have to come to you for some private sessions, I think,
no problem. I'd love
to work through that. I don't know what I need, whether I need psychic medium work or whether I need.
I've got a new course that I think might be interesting to you, which is called Female Genitalia and its Relationship to the Music of Rodgers and Hammerstein. That might be just your thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to give that some thought. But look, thank you for your time, and thank you for enlightening us.
Yes.
I know that we're all going to walk away from today's time with you the richer.
Of course.
People I'm sure are going to check out your Facebook page, which I've got a link to in the description section
and
below.
I've got lots of things on the YouTube, on the Tube of You,
given the amount of people that watch this program, Facebook will have to be careful, because we might end up crashing Facebook.
It's true. That's true. I know. Be careful. Maybe go on one at a time.
I might get Linda to make a list, and we can just release people one at a time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Might be a good idea. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for...
Lovely to talk to you, Dr. Dan.
It has been an absolute pleasure. Well, there you go, everyone. I don't know what to say to finish up, other than I told you it would be a real treat. I'm so glad that Jan was able to join us for the show after what we thought might be a no-show. But it's been a really funny in such an inspiring way, I think you would agree. If you've enjoyed today's live hangout, please hit the thumbs up button. Please share this with your friends and family. I think let's inspire the world with Jan van der Stoel. There is so much there that will really motivate people towards great singing. And of course, I look forward to hanging out with you again next week, all things being equal. I look forward to seeing you in the next Voice Essentials Hangout. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.